Atmore. Come on up. Sorry, Atmore had a season high 17 versus East Union. Willie had a season high 7 versus Tokay. Okay, next guy I'm going to call up is kind of the definition of Tasmanian devil on the court. Is running everywhere. Sometimes we'll probably get maybe 3 fouls in a minute. But it's because of his competitive edge and his drive. Always works hard, has a great spirit, and he had, let's see, a season high 8 points versus Pacheco, and that's Noah.
Noah? Oh! Oh! That's surprising.
Okay, next up we have another young man. Had a season high 16 points versus West. I think if he is focused, he can be a great player. And if he just kind of works on that dedication and tenacity that he has on defense and lets that carry over elsewhere, he's going to be a great player. And that's Iman. He needs to work on his 3-point shot too before I think he's going to let it flash some more.
Mr. Casanova.
He said check the percentage on that. Okay, next up was one of our team captains that we had, and it wasn't because of his vocal leadership. It was because of his play on the floor. I know the other kids looked up to him, and he might not get a lot in the statistics column, but he does the intangible things, the little things that make big things happen on the basketball floor. His defense, his work ethic, the shot that we're trying to correct a little bit to where his follow through is straight instead of kind of screwball, or curveball, baseball reference there. All right, and this is Connor. He had a season high 12 points versus Oakville. And again, he was one of our team captains. All right, next up, a young man that I think was on the fringe last year of making the freshman team, and from what I hear, he took that because he didn't make it last year. He took that as a personal challenge from what I've heard, and has been on the playground working on his game, not just playing, working, shooting, dribbling. This young man is dedicated. Okay, most people might not come to practice if they don't have a ride. This young man would walk, even if it was super windy, if it ever gets windy out here in Tracy. Yeah. And rain, sleet, or snow, not really snow, but he would still show up. His hard work and dedication this year ended up paying off for him, I think big time. And his season high was 12 points versus Weston Ranch, one of the tougher teams as well, and that's Chris Hall. All right, next up, young man. I think if you're just walking out on the street and you saw him, you would probably not think he was a basketball guy. All right. which just reiterates that you can never judge a book by its cover, nor a basketball player by their appearance. And that's the honest truth there. Was probably, I would say, our sixth man, if there is such a thing, you know. But I heard that Coach Lawrence gave him a nickname, and it kind of stuck. His nickname was Instant Offense I.O. So when he came in, we just knew that he was going to shoot, not 2-pointers, but 3-pointers, and lots of them. Thankfully, he did make a lot of them. And let's see, he had a season-high 17 versus Livermore, and that's not me. Instant offense. All right, next up, young man, another one of our non-vocal leaders, but lets his game do the talking. He's always working hard, and if you've ever tried to guard him in the post when he does his turnaround jump shot, you just can't guard him. You just hope he misses. And it's one of those things where you can't stop him. You just kind of hope he misses, you can get the rebound. This young man had a season-high 26 points versus Buock Colony. And when he scores, it's just, it looks so natural, and it's quiet. Like, I looked at the stat book, and I was like, really? 26? It just looked like he hit a couple buckets. But that's what he did throughout the whole season, and that's Ruben. Okay, last two guys here are big guys. I was kind of going in the order of our numbers too, I think, from the scorebook. Yeah. Well, except Willie and Brian are switched around, 10 and 11, right? Yeah. The things you remember after you write it down in the book, 27 times. Next young man we have, I think if he puts in the work, in the off season, he could develop into a legitimate presence in the post. And if he can stay healthy, I think that's a big thing too. And he's smiling, and he stays away from the spicy hot wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. We have Jordan, and he had a season-high 4 against Manteca. And we have a lot of rebounds for us as well. All right. Last but certainly not least, very intelligent young man. I think if he got a little bit more mean and aggressive on the court, it would help him out. He is kind of a nice guy, which isn't a fault, but you got to be able to turn that switch once you get on the basketball court. And has one of the strangest turnaround jump shots, right? But it goes in. Okay, and sometimes strange is very hard to guard, and it's not a put down in any way. Hard worker, and had a season high 9 points against West, and that's Julian. All right, while I have these guys up here, we have 2 awards, 2 trophies here, and here we go. I talked about this young man earlier. Well, obviously, I talked about them all. For the most improved player, and I think it was his dedication from not playing the first year as a freshman, which I think he probably should have. Again, that work ethic and just that I am going to succeed attitude. I'm going to walk to practice if I have to, walk back home afterwards, and still go out and play and work on his game. In 5 of the last 6 games, he scored in double figures for us. And he ended up becoming a huge contributor off the bench. He's got hands, and when he shakes my hands, he can take my pulse at the same time. And I'm not kidding. And he can throw it down. He just didn't really get the opportunity to. There was one time it was close and rare, but I can see him dunking very soon. Our most improved player for this year is Chris Hall.
Seriously, it's your team.
All right. The last award I have is the most valuable player, and it's always tough to kind of pick that because we always preach teamwork, and nobody's above the team and things like that. But this one is voted on by the players, so I feel comfortable with presenting that. And it's always good to know, but we had 7 guys that led us in scoring throughout the season. So at the end of a game, we had a leading scorer, and it wasn't the same guy every time, which speaks on these guys, okay, and their ability to work together and trust each other as teammates. We had 9 guys that averaged 4 points or more, okay, and when you're an opposing coach and you're trying to stop somebody, it's easy to stop the guy, hopefully, that's averaging 20 points, because you can focus on him. But when you got 9 to 10 guys that are averaging like 3, 4, 5, 7, and up, it's a lot tougher to stop that. And I think that's why we were so successful. Obviously because of us working together, but also on the defensive end. We held teams to an average of 40 points against us, and we averaged 53 points offensively. So again, our goal defensively is to try to always hold them to like at least 12 points or under per quarter. And this year we held teams to under 44 points 17 times. So that's huge, right? And I appreciate that. So the last 2 guys we have here, they did the team vote for MVP, and 2 players got votes. One of them is our other team captain, Noel. He got some votes there, but he did not get all of them, and I wanted to recognize him for getting some votes because that's other people believing in his ability. And he was also our team captain, so he's going to come up and grab the star. And the young man has, I mentioned before, had a season-high 26 versus Buhawk, scored in double figures 21 times. So, and it was very quiet, all right? And it's a guy that's just about business. And our MVP for this year is Ruben Man.
I'd like to thank everyone, my teammates, my family, and the coaches.
All right. One more time. 2013-14 JV first place BOL. Okay. Now we have Coach Lawrence again. I also want to say thanks for him doing what he does and the hard work he's put in. and setting the example for us all the way through the program. He's a great presence on campus. So I'll let him have the microphone now. Hog up in the back.
Thank you. Let's get a second here.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know this speaker. I didn't know this to say those words. That's nothing. That's very sweet. Yeah, very kind. I think they thank them on that.
All right. Thank you very much. Just a quick side note. I'm Chris Hall. Chris used to come down to the park right across from my house, and I saw him all summer. Like I'm out literally almost every single day out there. And I, looking at him out there, I told myself, this kid's going to make the team this year. And not being the coach, telling Coach Greg, you need to put this kid on the team. But I just knew all the hard work that he put in, that he would make the team, and real proud. Good job, Chris. All right, the varsity team. I know their main goal was to make the playoffs, and it was disappointing we didn't make it. But these guys had a great season. 16 wins, like I said before. Our first year of varsity, we had 10. Second year was 11. Last year was 13. And these guys.